Hi there, Shiyu. So you've written another set of essays. Let's take a look at what you've done here. The first one is about local food. Let's see what you said. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether locally grown produce or redistributed food is more beneficial to our society on the whole. Some believe consuming only local produce is both environmentally friendly and economical. While I disagree with the idea of eating entirely local food, I do believe we can reduce the stress on the environment by gravitating towards food produced by local producers. Okay, that was nice. I liked it. A lot of good language. I like that you, where was it? I like that you used do here for emphasis, so some nice grammar there as well. Okay, let's move on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that food has been transported over long distances. You can either say over a long distance or over long distances. And that should be puts with an S because it's food singular. So it puts a lot of strain on the environment. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, fresh produce needs to be carefully packaged during transportation before it is delivered to consumers to avoid damage. Careful. Damages is something else. There is actually a difference in meaning. Do look it up, okay? Excessive packaging will create more garbage to be disposed into the environment. Secondly, perishables need to be refrigerated and transported quickly, which both lead to an increase in greenhouse gas emission. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that consuming tropical fruits like avocado, mango, durian emit far more greenhouse gas than consuming local fruits and vegetables, namely tomatoes, apples, and cherries for UK residents. Okay. Fine. So therefore, it is conclusively clear that switching to locally grown food will significantly reduce our carbon footprint. Okay. I wanted you to talk a little bit more about this. So why do they, how can I say this? They need to be transported quickly, which will lead to an increase in gas emission. So what do you mean? That they might be transported by plane? They might be transported by by truck? So what does this all of this mean? And so if they were transported by boat, would the emissions be less? So I'm just trying to understand the logic here. I felt it just needed maybe one more statement about it, okay? On the other hand, although there is a case for consuming local food benefiting the society, the impact of economic gain through trading cannot be overstated. This is largely because society reduces the cost of production by specializing in growing produce suitable to the local environment and trading for other products. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that importing soya beans from the US is still 20% cheaper than growing them in the UK after factoring in transportation costs, plural. Consistent with this line of thinking is that a substantial amount of dairy products, again, vegetables and fruits we consume on a daily basis, you didn't need the comma here, on a daily basis are in fact imported to bring down the cost. That is, it is possible to state beyond doubt that shipping food over long distances can bring economical benefits to our society. Lovely. So, from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that by purchasing food from faraway areas, we are reaping economical benefits at the, careful, cost of economical destruction. Therefore, we should slowly transit towards a diet that involves more local food. Okay. Let's see. I really liked your essay. I thought the language was so nice. It was so pleasant to read, but there's one problem with this essay. So on the whole, you think that we should kind of move towards eating local food. If that's the case, then you need to put this paragraph second. That's because we always put the paragraph that we support at the end. We put it closer to our conclusion. Okay, so that was a problem here. This is something that would affect your coherence and cohesion score. So you need to reverse the order of your body paragraphs. So first we talk about the side that we agree with less, and then we talk about the side that we agree with more. Okay? Other than that, it was a really well-written essay, so congratulations. Let's take a look at your next one. Okay, and here it is, the chips. Let's see what you did here. The bar chart shows, it didn't show, it shows now. The bar chart shows the performance of two different chip manufacturers, plural, in France into 12 consecutive months in 2017. These sales of Intel outperformed those of AMD in most of the months in the first half of the year, with the exception of February and April. Okay. In March, May, and June, Intel sold far more chips than AMD, selling around 125,000 chips and dominating the market entirely in June. In contrast, AMD outnumbered Intel in March, around 120,000 sales versus 80,000 sales. Similarly, AMD occupied a slightly bigger market, around 10,000 more chips than Intel in April. All right, I think there's a little mistake here. I think when you said that AMD outnumbered Intel in March, you meant February, because you already said that before about February. So AMD is orange. So AMD outnumbered Intel in February, 120 versus 80. Okay, so it's just a little typo there. But it's if you're aiming for a really high score, this is the kind of mistake that will cost you points because it's inaccurate. So just be careful with that kind of thing, okay? All right, let's move on. In July, the sales of chips were predominantly produced by AMD, 110,000 pieces compared to 30,000 pieces by Intel. While the sales of Intel gradually picked up thereafter, sales of AMD showed an opposing trend. Not opposing, opposite. Yeah. In the last 2 months, AMD only sold, only sold less than 50,000 chips. However, the sales of Intel soared during the same period, selling around 110 and 105,000 chip units respectively. Overall, the sales of chips from both companies fluctuated significantly during the year. As the sales of one company increased, those of the other fell. Why do I keep insisting that it's those? Because sales is plural. So the pronoun you need to use here is also plural. Instead of that, you would say those. If it was just the sale, then you could say that. But since sales is plural, you need to use those. Okay? Shiyu, I'm really happy with your essays. The language flows really nicely. There are some little grammatical errors, but it's nothing that somehow creates an obstacle in understanding and the coherence of it. So it's well done. Okay? Go ahead and correct these essays, add to your error correction list, and send us another set of essays. You're doing a good job, so I'm looking forward to seeing your next set of essays. Good luck with them.